Here on Facebook Live, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Lambers.
And we're covering a severe weather situation in our area. We had a tornado warning in effect earlier for northern Washington County, and the rotation area was looking to the point like we might have a tornado on the ground.
It was, yeah. So we were monitoring that, and it just kept continuing with that tornado path too, with that rotation that we were watching.
And now that rotation area has moved over in Clark County, and it's changed its structure. So the National Weather Service has dropped the tornado warning. We've still got some thunderstorms out there. If you're joining us from northern Clark County right now and you're concerned about severe weather, wanted to give you an idea of what we're tracking and some of the things we're going to be updating here on Fox 10 News at 9 p.m. We've got a line of storms moving in, so it's my job to punch it up, right?
Yes.
Okay, there's a look at it. The way this works, by the way, I mean, this is just to tell you, I mean, we do all of it. We're the directors, the producers, and, you know, we make mistakes sometimes. But anyway, here we go. So this is a look at what's going on right now on Fox 10 News now with a possible thunderstorm that is a severe thunderstorm going on right now in Clark County. And look at the lightning in that one, Jen.
Wow, that is a lot of lightning. So very active with the lightning going on, and probably a lot of thunder that they were hearing there too. So very active, probably very loud with that.
You know what's interesting too, the core of the heavy thunderstorm is going right over the area where the rotation was going over 20 or 30 minutes ago. And there's going to be a little streak here that gets 2 to 3 inches of rain like that. I mean, super quick. The Salitpa area in northern Washington County really in a streak or in a line here from the Frankville-Silver Cross area across the Tombigbee River and up towards US 84 around Grove Hill. That area right there is actually getting a ton of rain going on right now.
Yeah, so I see that we have Greg watching from Grove Hills right now. So as you are watching right now, it is kind of just some light rain in Grove Hill, but it is heading that way. It's going to bring heavier precipitation and probably louder too.
Yeah, we mentioned this in the Grove Hill area, and now we got a little bit more audio, so you can hear Jennifer a little better than me. I had one of the audio levels up, Jen, but I didn't have the other. If you're in Grove Hill, you were watching our coverage on Fox 10. And we were concerned about possibly that rotation area going right for Grove Hill, and it was, but it's weakened, and so the storm cycled a little bit. Now it looks like more of a severe thunderstorm situation that's bearing down on Grove Hill. And actually Fulton, which is between Grove Hill and Thomasville, you actually could see the more intense part of the storm as it heads your way. I'm going to pan the radar just a little bit and zoom in. And the way we've got this thing set up is communities of a certain size are going to pop up automatically depending on what way we have the camera adjusted. And if we zoom in more, we could actually show you more specifically, you know, communities and things like that. So the core of the heavy rain extends from between Mays Crossroads and Pattersonville along 69. And then it between Toddtown and to the north here on Wynn Road, you're getting a heavy thunderstorm. Zimco, you're getting a heavy thunderstorm. And then getting into Grove Hill, and it looks to me like really, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the actual community of Grove Hill, where the label is actually a little off. This is Grove Hill up here. So Grove Hill is really 84 and 45, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a look at it there, and so it looks like the locator for Grove Hill is a little off on this, but we get the general idea. You can tell by looking at the roads if you're from up here. You can see 84 and 43 crossing. That heavier storm's probably going to go right through Grove Hill, but Fulton may get the heavier thunderstorm.
Yeah, I agree. And even zooming out further, we have some viewers from Grove Hill, but also some in Thomasville. So they're all being affected by this storm that is moving through. It's moving east at about 35 miles per hour.
Ooh, that's fast.
Yes, so we are monitoring it for any more rotation that it could possibly pick up again. We had that tornado warning earlier. It was going to continue until 8 p.m., but due to that significant weakening of the rotation, they went ahead and canceled it earlier, but we are still monitoring it for those high wind speeds that they could see. And then it's just a strong line of thunderstorms that will affect these counties until 8:15, but it will most likely continue to move on as that strong thunderstorm that we will still continue to monitor until it moves out of our area.
And you see, I got my little scope tool thing going on right now, and I'm just looking inside the storm to see if there's anything rotating. So we can actually see, you know, what's going on as far as reflectivity. That shows us where the red is, but it doesn't show you where rotation is. So we can actually look inside of it with our signature, and you can see that the possible. So we're still getting some audio issues. Is that correct? We're okay. Okay. Yeah. So we can actually look inside of it and see exactly where it's rotating, where it's not, using our velocity scope tool. We could pull the whole thing up on velocity, but there's no reason to doing that. We can just kind of look inside and kind of pan around with our scope thing. And this is way better looking than it was earlier.
I agree. It's seeing a lot less. And also none of the hook motions that we were monitoring for earlier.
So hopefully we've been able to reassure a few folks in Clark County that we're not in a tornado situation based on what we're seeing right now. And in Washington County, you're clear. The other thing I wanted to do is, man, this has been a horrible night for weather in Mississippi and Alabama north of us. I mean, we're really just getting a piece of this. And in northern Louisiana, and really from Starkville, Columbus, back down to like Macon and Scuba, and it looks like Louisville, and yes, it's Louisville. It's Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville,
yeah,
and then you get over on the Alabama side of things, and from the Tuscaloosa area, and getting on up above Montgomery here, and getting up towards Clanton, and then in Birmingham, all these counties that are in maroon color here, they're under flash flood warnings. We've seen a ton of potential flooding going on in this area.
Yeah, I was driving down I drove down from Memphis today, and so going through West Point, Tupelo, and towards Meridian, I saw extreme flooding in a lot of fields that were just completely gone, just all water. But then also we've seen videos coming in from Birmingham today. I saw some significant flooding at Alabaster too, just near Birmingham. Flooded roadways, some cars that have been taken by the water too. And so we actually have a special report coming up on that at 9 p.m. for FOX10 News. So make sure to tune into that just to see some of the significant flooding that we may see the results of a couple days from now.
Yeah, it takes a little while, but all those areas that Jennifer talked about are in the watershed for the Tombigbee River and for the Alabama River. Basically, any raindrops that fall from Rome, Georgia, all the way over pretty much to Tupelo and south until you get down to Interstate 65, further to the south, all that stuff's going to end up in either the Tombigbee or the Alabama. And all that is going to end up in the Mobile River and in the Tensas Delta. At this point, we've already got a pretty big base as far as some moderate flooding that's going on. If we get a persistent flooding event going on in central Alabama and in northern Alabama and in portions of Mississippi over the next couple of days, and we're seeing that ongoing now, that's going to put more water in the watershed. And so we could have some very impressive flooding going on in the rivers around here. But it may be the weekend or the first next week before that water even gets in the watershed. It takes a while. I mean, for rain, hit the ground, get into a culvert, find a way into a creek, and get down into a river in Birmingham and end up in, Claiborne and Clark County or Monroe County. It takes a while for that water to get all the way down here. So what's going on now is going to have more of an impact in a week. It takes time.
The extra rain that we are expecting for this weekend into this weekend, that we have rain chances.
And those rivers that are to the north they don't flash flood. They rise slowly, but they can creep up. They can rise a half a foot or a foot a day or more. And they just keep creeping up and creeping up. So if you're in Clark County, and you have property in Clark County, Washington County, and Monroe County, or along the Tensas Delta in Mobile or Baldwin counties, you just need to be aware of what's going on with the river stages. You can go to the Weather Service site and check on the rivers and check on the river. But we're going to try and bring that information to you on FOX10 some too. And this is good. Jen's running the radar here for us. And we've got that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:45 for Clark County. So that's for this cell that was tornadic earlier. It's no longer being considered to be a tornado warning. It's definitely a severe thunderstorm situation.
Yes, and they are saying that winds up to 60 miles per hour are possible in this system too as it continues to move on. So you could hear the thunder, you could see heavy rain, hear the heavy rain, but also those really strong wind gusts are a concern too with this system as it's continuing to push further.
Yeah, and that was actually issued at 8:01 So that's been just in effect for a couple of minutes, and I mean, we've been handling this like it's a severe thunderstorm situation anyway. But there's the warning in orange. So if you're not in this orange area, if you're in Washington County or you're in Mobile County or in Baldwin County, you're not included. But it's specifically in this orange area where we have the severe thunderstorm warning that's going on right now. And I'm gonna click on. I guess the way you got this set up, Jen, is I can just click the layers on and off. Is that right? So that's the sweeping radar there. I think I'm gonna go to composite and then let's do it like that. There we go. Let me clear this dialog box off too. And so that kind of gives you an overview of it. Look at the reflectivity core. I mean, that's some really, really heavy rain that's going on right now.
Yeah, it's going to be that pink color that you can see.
Yeah, that's the Zimco area. And then if I switch it over to sweeping, I do need to get it off composite and put it on specific elevation. But you can see that this is blending some different radars. So I'm going to take New Orleans off, and we'll take Mississippi off. That cleans it up some. So this is just Birmingham and Mobile. If I take Birmingham off entirely, I think that presents pretty well. But it is pinpointing, both radars are actually pinpointing this right here, which is like this dark color right here. That's some really heavy rain. I mean, it's rocking up there in Clark County right now. And you want me to hit now. That's what one of the other things you said. All right, so anyway, this is showing the area in tight where we're getting probably the worst part of the storm.
Yeah, and then also I'm seeing April in Thomasville is saying that it's coming down really hard where she is too. So just north. So you're, Thomasville is just barely outside of the severe thunderstorm warning, but you can still see that dark coloration of that heavy rainfall that's still affecting those northern portions too. It's going to extend even further north in Thomasville, but just south of Grove Hill, completely dry. So we're just monitoring this one system that's continuing to push. It's more north, but it's continuing to push east, about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So it's fast moving. And as we continue to watch this, we aren't seeing any rotation in it right now, but we will continue to monitor as it continues to push through Clark County for this evening.
Yeah, I think a little bit of outflow dropping down from the north, maybe having some influence on it right now. Kind of was looking at an overview of the composite reflectivity around the region, and it looks like it's bearing down on Grove Hill now with the core of the heavy part of the storm. Fulton to Grove Hill, and this thing may clip Jackson. We'll see. The southern edge of it. It still may get the wind, even if you don't get the storm itself.
You're right, yeah, with that wind that they are saying, it could be up to 60 miles per hour. So very fast wind speeds, heavy rainfall, and lots of lightning. So I'm seeing Melinda say there's raining buckets in Chilton.
Yeah.
And also Philip said that there's heavy rain and moderate lightning in Fulton.
Yeah, I bet it's getting it in Chilton right now. There's Chilton right there on 154. That's just a little on the west side of Fulton right there. If you don't know where that is, now you do. And there's the Zimco area, and then here's Grove Hill. It's a little misplaced, but again, right where 43 and 84 come together. And this thing is finally making its approach, unfortunately, towards Grove Hill. But I'd rather it be a severe thunderstorm situation than a tornadic situation. Now, when we get the wind gusts to 60 miles an hour, that can cause a lot of problems. It can knock down limbs and trees, power lines. It's not a good night to be in a manufactured home, that kind of thing, if you're in northern Clark County tonight. It's a really rough storm coming through right now.
Yeah, and then for anyone that is watching, we will continue this on Facebook Live just for this evening, and we'll continue the coverage of this until it does leave for the county. Just because this is a severe thunderstorm warning that could change at any moment. That earlier tornado warning that we saw earlier began out as a severe thunderstorm warning, so we continue to monitor that. And then it did figure out that it did have that rotation in it to warrant that warning to come out.
All right, so let's think about what else we want to show on this. Let's see, there is, here's an RPM. Let's see what this does. This is a computer model here, so we're just kind of previewing what we're going to be showing tonight. And one of the things this indicates, let's see, this is tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. We expect to have some showers in our area tomorrow morning. As we go through the day, we'll see some showers. We may actually get a little lull in the afternoon, as you can see there. And then as we get into Wednesday, we're going to be watching for a line of storms coming across the Mississippi River At this point, it's still not showing up. It may be after dark on Wednesday night that we actually get that line of storms moving in. But that we're under a slight risk of severe weather for that one.
And then going back to what we're seeing right now, they are still monitoring this. We're still monitoring this, but it does look like the storm is attempting to rotate again. So that's why there is that severe thunderstorm warning in place. So we're just going to continue monitoring this for any rotation that may be involved within it. It has a pretty nice core in the center line of it, so that's why we have that severe thunderstorm warning and why we are on Facebook Live right now, just talking about this, where it is in our DMA and for some of our counties up there.
Yeah, I'm going to punch this up real quick. Right now I'm loading a different workspace. I'm loading my workspace so we can show some of the things that we're going to be previewing on FOX10 News at 9 o'clock upcoming. But anyway, I think it's loading up now. Did I load the other workspace? No, it is loaded. It's thinking right now, so it's doing its thing. And what we're doing is just kind of getting prepped and also keeping an eye on things, because we had that rotation area and it showed up a little broad in Greene County and then kind of flattened out, and then it ramped up again in Washington County. So we just want to, the folks in Clark County, let them know we're still monitoring the storm for the possibility of rotation going on in that area. Have you seen anything on chat as far as confirmation of damage or issues?
I have not seen any confirmation of damage or issues. Regardless if it's chat or social media, no one's really reported anything. Just the latest thing that they are monitoring right now is that attempted rotation within that storm that warrants that severe thunderstorm warning.
And one thought I had about it is that, I mean, we could have had a tornado in northern Washington County. If you've been up to that area, like right around Frankville and some of those areas, there are places where there's a number of folks that have houses and that kind of thing, and then we have these huge tracts where it's just pine trees and woods and deer and that kind of thing. So it's not an area that's super highly populated. I mean, you get around Milry, there are a lot of folks, but you get between those locations and you can have areas where there's just a few houses or just hunting camps and that kind of thing. So not to say that we may not have had a tornado in that area that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll continue to monitor NWS chat, where they will do surveys of anything that possibly could have been out there.
Yeah, we got a report too coming in. Let's see what we got there. We got Lee Peck at camera 46. Let's see how that looks here. Camera 46 and server 73. There you go. Lee Peck is headed up the road right now. He's headed towards Clark County to see if we've had any damage in that area, and this is our storm tracker capability. It looks like that shop might be freezing up a little bit, and from what I can tell based on the signs on the side of the road is that we are on Highway 43 right now. So we are not on I-65. Lee is moving north. He's headed towards that storm. I'm not seeing any flickering of lightning in the distance, so I would imagine he's still in Mobile County, probably somewhere around Creola or getting closer to Mount Vernon right now. But we'll be monitoring this here as Lee Peck heads to the north, and he'll be up closer to this storm and any areas of possible damage as he's heading up to Clark County on FOX10 News coming up at 9 p.m. So we've got it covered with our live crew heading up there with our storm tracker vehicle right now. And these storm tracker vehicles, this has totally revolutionized the way television is brought to you. It used to be we would get a live truck, we'd go out, we'd park it, we'd raise a mask, and we'd bring a signal. Now we can bring a signal anytime, anywhere, as long as we get good cell service.
Yeah, the cell service is a big one, but also this is important to go out and see if there's any damage from where we were monitoring that rotation earlier in Clark and Washington counties. Just because that's the biggest thing with tracking storms and tracking tornadoes is that ground confirmation. That's what we need, is either someone spots it or we see that damage following it. And so that's normally how we can know if there was a tornado or not, regardless if it was radar indicated.
And if Lee's in Mobile County on Highway 43, right now I would estimate that he's still a really good ways away from, let's say he's down to the south here. He could be 30 or 40 miles away from this storm still going north. So it's still a pretty good ways off. We've got a lot of low clouds and stuff, so that may be obscuring the view of some of the lightning that's going on within this storm. We're going to try and get Lee up closer to the storm for the 9 o'clock hour, but as fast as this thing is moving, I don't know if we'll catch it or not. I mean, he's not going to break any laws or anything, but it may be tough to catch up with this one here.
Yeah, considering how fast it is moving.
Yeah, let me loop it for you.
There you go.
Yeah, you can see it progressing across Clark County. Again, marginal risk for severe tonight, but on the southern end of it, a lot of times that's where it happens.
A little tail end of it.
Mm-hmm. And just to widen out a little bit, look at Mobile and Dolphin Island area, Gulf Shores, Pensacola. It's a nice night out there.
Yeah, just some stray showers near Lucedale and just north of Hurley, but that's about it. Most everywhere else is staying dry, but then just head a little bit north towards, still in our DMA, that there is severe weather currently going on and still what we are tracking for this evening.
One of the things that's noticeable about this particular radar view to me is that because the National Weather Service has been sweeping this thing hard, we've gotten a lot of radar images, and so you can really see the evolution of the storm. And normally if you have a typical situation, you're getting a radar image every 4 or 5 minutes, and now we're getting them like rapid fire.
Yeah.
And so it gives it that real detailed look. I mean, there's no jumping to this at all as we're taking a look at it here in a 1 hour loop.
Yeah,
There's
so
plenty of pixels to work with here.
I'm even going to go back to that warning that we're still in right now. So this is that severe thunderstorm warning, and that is in effect until 8:45 for Clark County. So that's going to extend from Choctaw Bluff up to Grove Hill. And even then you can see that storm system is mainly just to the north of it. So it could clip a little bit of Choctaw along with Jackson for that light rainfall, but most of the heavy precipitation is going to stay north of Grove Hill, extending up towards Thomasville. And so I'm still seeing your comments here on Facebook Live, just talking about what all you're seeing and how it's sounding, and just the heavy rainfall and lots of lightning seems to be the consistency. I haven't seen anything about wind damage right now.
This thing is going, it's got a lot of east in the forward motion too. It's a bit of what we call a right mover. Mean layer flow, it wants to go east, northeast, or northeast, but it's going way more east than you think. We'll go back to Lee real quick, just so that you can see what's going on as he's heading up the road now. It looks like he's coming along here.
Also, it's important to note how dry it is. We do have wipers on our cameras, and
Yeah.
it doesn't need them because we're not seeing any rainfall quite yet.
It's fine, and one of the other reasons why we probably hadn't been able to see any storms off into the distance is oncoming traffic. I mean, this Highway 43, I mean, it's heavily traveled. You've got a lot of industry up in the McIntosh, Malcolm area with the steel plant and some of the other areas, and so, you know, when you have shift changes, you got a lot of people coming and going for business purposes up and down that road at really all hours of the night. And so, you know, he's still a pretty good ways off. Looks like he's coming up on a red light right there. And that was a chevron. So somebody who's real familiar with it might know exactly. Yeah, there's a Highway 43 sign. Sometimes we can pick out like a county road sign or a crossing and we can get an idea of how far up he is. But looks like he's got a little bit more ways to go to catch up with that. So we'll be checking in with Lee periodically. I'm going to go back to weather computer, and we'll go to our composite reflectivity. So, you know, you've got moderate showers that really have been non-severe other than the flooding aspect of it going on up in central Alabama and northern Alabama most of the day today. But down on the far southern edge of it is where that severe potential was, and it's just really for a short period of time, and we're thinking kind of evening and, you know, or late afternoon, early evening, just a little window for something to pop up, and we got, well, one cell. It's really, I mean, it's really the only game in town as far as severe potential.
It is, and I'm going to look at that lightning real fast.
Oh, yeah, do that.
Another...
Yeah, we ought to be able to bring that up.
You can really see it in that Jackson storm right there, just barely above it.
That's
I was going to look at it.
High concentration of lighting. That means that thunderstorm's got a lot of top on it. Yeah, well,
nothing yet near us.
Yeah, around Harrisburg, some wind damage reports, and
That's about it.
some flooding reports Yep.
Yeah, so these are local storm reports from the past 24 hours that we're seeing, but it seems near us that we're not seeing anything really towards our area for the storm reports. But as we zoom in closer, you can see all the lightning that is associated with that cell, especially just north of Jackson heading
Man,
towards
it just
Grove Hill.
really
Yeah.
blew up. I mean, if we look at it, I'm gonna hit now, and I think I can back it up a little bit. I mean, these are the number of lightning strikes that were going on at 7:42, and then look at that. I mean, this thing just electrified over Grove Hill, didn't it?
That did, yeah, because I
Yeah.
saw Paula said that there was very bad lightning in Jackson, so you can see just right now that has really accelerated with the amount of lightning strikes that we've seen.
Yeah. We're definitely looking at an intense amount of lightning within that core of that storm. And I want to zoom in a little bit too, so that folks who are in this area, you can get an idea of exactly what we're seeing.
Oh, you can really see that
Yeah.
pink on the radar with that heavy precipitation just at the very north there.
Yeah, Allen Walker Road, Todd Town area, Suggsville, Grove Hill. That right there is they're really getting rocked. And so we can cut all this stuff on and off. I mean, you can see I add the lighting and subtract the lighting. Look at that precipitation going on in Grove Hill right now. Hey,
Oh, wow.
we may have some hail.
I think
Hey,
we might.
you folks watch us on Facebook Live. If you're in Toddtown or you're on 43 on the south end of Grove Hill, let us know if you're seeing some hail, because where that black pixel right there, that's suspicious for sure.
Question mark.
Yeah, we'll query it. Yeah.
Because I see Alana in Antioch and Toddtown right now saying that it's really rough. So, Alana, if you're hearing any hail out there, if anyone else near that area, Grove Hill, Toddtown, in between, just let us know. Don't go outside. I'm sure you can hear it, or go towards the window just in case.
Yeah, we're indicating hail for sure there. I mean, that's going to be Camp Mobilla Road between Allen Walker Road and 43. I don't have the satellite imagery to see if that's dirt or paved. I would bet you it's dirt. Yeah, we're going to look at it on Google Maps, but yeah, possible hail in this area for sure. I mean, that's something that's going to be another element to this. Look at that right there, Old Drive-In Road, Elkmont Lane, Gilcrest Road. Watch out for some hail mixed in, along with some very, very intense cloud-to-ground lightning. And these are getting into the outskirts of South Grove Hill too. That's where this is.
Right.
So yeah. Yep. So, yep. It's a rough night.
Rabbit Creek near that area. Oh, it looks like farmland, but there are some homes embedded in the middle of them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. We're just checking it all out, making sure. And let me zoom out and do a little velocity check too while we're at it.
And they did extend that severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 p.m. So they just kind of re-amped it, or they re-updated it. In the severe thunderstorm warnings, they do have a hail parameter on there for what they say that could be the size of the hail. Earlier it was about ½ an inch, and then recently at about 7:40 they upgraded it to about 3/4 of an inch, but just now they've sent out a new alert saying that that'll be hail up to an inch in size with that severe thunderstorm warning that we're seeing near Grove Hill.
Yeah, you see those little purple things right here? That's never good. So that's likely a hail core going on. And there's some gusty winds with it without question. So, you know, let's see if I can find the 46 mile per hour. So right in there, wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour without a doubt. And a little notch trying to form in through here. We got to make sure this thing doesn't start rotating on us again too as it's coming through. So.
Right, so we're going to continue monitoring that. We'll stay here on this Facebook Live for anyone watching.
Yeah, it's 8:24. We've got a newscast at 9 o'clock, but we're just going to hang out and keep watching it for you as this thing comes across. It looks like the worst of it pretty much lined up along 43 and 84, and it's going to be getting a little closer to Watley here. Zoom in here and we'll get... There's the Gosport area. Old Line Road. So, Dahl Pendleton Road. Yeah, I've hunted up on this area before. Grove Hill, got the line of storms coming through right now. It's tracking across eastern Clark County, south of Fulton, down around Grove Hill and 43. At this point, the primary threat's going to be thunderstorms with gusty winds and intense lightning, along with some hail.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, still monitoring, not seeing anything on social media quite yet about any updates. No one confirming if they've seen hail. But again, there aren't many people, it seems to be, living in this area, just a lot of farmland. So if anyone
Did you
is
see
out there,
BJ
yeah.
said that Camp Montbilla Road is dirt, by the way?
Yes, I did. Thank you, BJ.
Well, it's a hilly area, and it's a windy road, too. I mean, there's some big-time hills in that part of Clark County. Heads over, and now we're watching these cores of heavy precip, and I'm going to go back to the hail scope and look inside some of these. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Wow. Allen Road, Grove Hill, man. Suggsville, I would think we probably got some hail coming down now. Yeah, check it out.
There you
1
go,
inch
that'd be the
hail.
1 inch.
Yeah, and it may not come down as 1 inch. It may come down as less or more. We're seeing what's going on up in the atmosphere, so we don't know exactly what it's going to look like when it gets all the way down to the bottom, especially considering this. When you got the curvature of the earth, this is looking in the top part of the storm, the mid to upper portion of the storm, so far away from the actual radar itself. That's a bad storm. And we were looking at this. I mean, you know, we've got our hail scope tool, and we've got reflectivity, and then we've got our lightning too. I think I've got a lightning palette item here somewhere. Because we're using this.
If you go to the far side, one more. There you go. That one, scroll down.
I'm having trouble getting to my lightning. Is this viewer? There we go. Oh boy, now we're cooking. Had to get Jen to help me dig this thing up.
There we go. Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow, that's not a lot of fun. And so I can actually measure this. Just basically within this storm, we've had about 675 strikes in the last 15 minutes. The white strikes are recent. The lighter blue coloration is within the last 5 minutes, and then the other blue is showing strikes that are about 10 to 15 minutes old. And we could check in on Lee. And he's heading up 43. Probably not pointed right towards the storm right now, but he's likely getting closer. He's heading up that way. And so if we have any reports of damage, please pass them on to us. We've got a crew heading up there to check things out. It's getting a little pixelated because we are really dependent on the cell signal in that area. So we'll switch it back to... So there are going to be lulls. You hit little dips in the road and that kind of thing, and just like your cell phone conversation drops out, the backpack shot's going to drop out. It's combining multiple cell signals to stream. Basically, it's similar to the technology you use for Skype or Facebook Live, but it puts it in a high digital quality now. We're getting better and better with that technology.
Getting in the rural areas, it's
yeah,
a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll keep an eye on Lee. It looks like he just got into Mount Vernon. I think that was what that sign was right there. It was either McIntosh or Mount Vernon. So we'll keep watching out for Lee. I want to get you back to radar if you're watching us up in Clark County. And here it is on a loop. So
And for anyone just now tuning in, there is a severe thunderstorm warning for this area. That's in occurrence until 8:45 p.m. This very could well continue further and continue on the path that it is traveling. We have seen possible hail within it. We haven't gotten any confirmed reports of it, but it has been picking up on our hail scope that we do have. And that also is a very good indicator of just the height of the supercell storm that we could be seeing associated with this. So the larger the hail, just the taller the clouds are associated within that too. And so they have been upping the potential for that hail size as we continue on throughout this evening for about the past hour as we've been watching this.
Yeah, and really the situation with the Facebook Live, I'm sitting here reading the comments right now. I mean, we're getting a lot of good feedback from folks that are up here talking about the storm.
I've seen Catherine say that it has picked up here outside of Toddtown and in Wynne, Alabama. That's to see what a lot of people have been saying, especially folks that live in that area that have been watching with us throughout this entire evening on our Facebook Live or even on Twitter and YouTube for what we do here for this evening. So they've all been watching, they've all been talking to us, and all been very appreciative of what we've been doing here too. We always like to see that, and so this is the best way to communicate with folks is the comments that you make, but also it helps just kind of be that ground truth and that ground confirmation that we can get from these storms that we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of things with TV these days that have improved our severe weather coverage. And, you know, normally this is the conversation that Jennifer and I would be having just sitting at our desk between newscasts or between severe weather updates. When we're in that kind of marginal time where, hey, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning, we've got some gusty winds, we're not to the point where we want to break into programming, but we do want to be keeping an eye on it. So we're just sitting there looking at it. And instead, we're just kind of having this ongoing conversation. We've got the radar up, we're watching it, and this thing is going to be in Monroe County fast.
It is, yes. And also, I'm still monitoring social media. We have this thing called NWS Chat where meteorologists within the area can all talk to each other. And recently, what we've just seen is that there is actually a report on the trees down on 2600 Allen Walker Road, and that road is completely blocked from those down trees that they're seeing. So that is just kind of that confirmation that there were gusty winds, very strong winds to knock down some of those trees and some of that storm damage.
Yeah, we'll probably send Lee to Allen Walker Road unless something else happens. So hopefully we'll be able to bring some of those pictures to you at 9 o'clock. He may have to shoot some video and run back up into Jackson to get a signal if you can't get a signal down there. But that's right where we noted what was an extraordinary ramping up of the number of lightning strikes.
Yes.
I mean, we were just doing this Facebook Live and we're thinking, yeah, it's a severe thunderstorm, and then all of a sudden, boom, like the number of lightning strikes within a 5-minute period doubled and tripled, and then the hail core formed. And, you know, when you have all that going on, you have gusty winds. Lightning is such a great indicator of the strengthening or the weakening of a thunderstorm.
Like the energy that it has within it. So.
All right, I'll pop it back up here, and we'll check on Lee. He's still making it up 43. As you know, it takes a good hour to get from Mobile to up around Jackson, you know, so we checked in with him. He was in Creola, now he's in the McIntosh, Mount Vernon area. Not to the point where we're seeing any noticeable lightning, but we've got some oncoming traffic and some headlights. But if there was, you know, and I imagine some of the low clouds and fog are inhibiting our ability to be able to see the lightning from a great distance. Like in the summertime, you'll have a thunderstorm pop up and you can see the lightning in Clark County from Mobile County. I mean, you see it a long ways off. But in this particular setup, we don't have that going on as much. So let's go back to radar, because we've got the low clouds. And so, and the storm's actually veering away from Lee now. It's over eastern Clark County, and it's up around Lower Peachtree. And
it still does look like Thomasville is getting a lot of heavy rainfall and might continue just a bit further along than Grove Hill. Grove Hill, that portion seems to be moving just a little bit more ahead and faster between it, while there's some trailing behind in Thomasville. But it looks like the severe portion of it is possibly just right there where we're zooming in, where that purple is.
Yeah.
Near
Vashti. That one's out, you know.
Oh, here we go. And then also Katie is saying that there is a car in a ditch near Sales Ford in Grove Hill. So we are seeing there is a car off the road, possibly from the severe storm that has pushed through.
Yeah. Let's see if we have a pen where we'll get some of that down and get that to I'll let you write that stuff down. Yeah, we appreciate that update, Katie, that sent us. As this thing is coming through the heaviest part of it, 11-mile road, County Road 39. We're pretty close to Wiley up here now. For some reason, Wiley is popping up on our storm tracker, but that's where this is. Gosport, right now, you're right on the edge of it. Suggsville looks pretty rough right now. Morning Star Road, Old Line Road, and possible hail coming down. I'm going to go back to some of our scope tools and check. We're just going to do a little update. I'm going to hit right now, so it's going to put it on current time. Still showing hail, but not as impressive as earlier. I want to check the velocity for any rotation. Now, this is so far away from the radar. It's going to be real subtle. There's a little rotation area right in there. Yeah.
That wind.
Yep. We'll have to watch out for that. That's actually where you would see the rotation too. You see that little V notch right there?
Be from inflow within it.
Yeah. There's a little notch right there. The inflow, we've got a little rotation area trying to pop back up, and this is going to generally be tracking towards Franklin and Washington and Monroe County as it moves on off. So I'm not seeing anything to the point that it's still a little broad, but there is some rotation going on with this storm right now. It's kind of changing its structure again. It's evolving a little bit. And then lightning strike wise, boy, we have really seen a lot of lightning going on. So let's see if I
You
can-
want to check the strike count now?
Yeah, let's do it. It's going to take it just a second. And I'm going to get the I'm gonna zoom out just a smidge, and I'm going to take my little box. And 761, so we're still getting a really amazing thunderstorm.
600s last time we checked, so it's increasing even further with that energy within it.
And look at the lightning actually breaking out ahead of the storm over into Monroe County. So Franklin right now and getting over towards Beatrice, that area, that's where this thing's going. I mean, it's not a great night in Clark County for sure.
Very active, probably very wet too, because we've already had that saturated soil ahead of this. We've been seeing rain for the past couple of days, and then now we're even seeing heavier precipitation just further up north, while the rest of Mobile, Baldwin counties, and out towards Pensacola and the entire Panhandle is all seeing very dry conditions.
Yeah, we got a storm tracker heading up that way right now. He's still pretty good ways out, probably about 30 minutes away, and I don't know if he'll catch the storm because it's moving so fast. But we may be able to catch up with some of the areas where we've had some reports of trees down and the vehicle that's stranded also. And so you're going to get heavy rain with this. I've got it stuck on the strikes right now, so I'm going to go back to a still image of our sweeping radar.
And I am seeing that it does look that is weakening just a little bit. So they've allowed the severe thunderstorm warning to expire. It seems that it is overall weakening, and so right now it is expected that there could be wind gusts, just very strong wind gusts, right now of up to 40 to 50 miles per hour still associated with this storm. So although this isn't severe thunderstorm warning anymore, it is still posing a risk with that heavy rainfall and that lightning within it too.
So we're getting ready for a newscast, and we're going to take a break here on Facebook Live now that the thunderstorm warning's been allowed to expire, but it's definitely been a very active night up into Clark County and Washington County with warnings, and we'll have an update on the latest with Lee Peck, who's going to be up in this area, possible damage, and we'll also be watching the storm, and if it looks bad, we'll break in on Facebook Live or on air on FOX10 News and let you know.
Yeah, and I'm still seeing reports coming in, so just feel free to send those in. You can either message them to us or just comment directly.
Yeah,
here
we'll
on
be
the live
watching
right now.
out. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So thank you all, and tune in at 9 o'clock for the latest news.